Once again, man finds himself in a crazy plot. You have a beautiful woman who's crazy and is going to kill you. Back in my dating life, that was every Friday night. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Really unique video today. The reason I say that is on this channel, we review custom and licensed statues. Well, today we're reviewing a licensed or a lustom statue. That's right, this isn't custom and it's not licensed. Well, how does that work, Mr. X? We're going to talk about that, and believe it or not, I've done that in the past a few times. So what's really exciting about this statue is it's its own original design. So it's supposed to be a lady named Vara who is the angel of death. Angel of death is the angel that comes and kills you, takes you away, fights demons and angels. So pretty scary, like Mrs. X. But anyway, so this is obviously not the traditional angel of death. I don't even know if anyone holds licensing rights to the angel of death, but this is a creation from a lot of different minds. So originally, this was being produced by a company called Legion Studios, who originally did custom statues and then actually started doing some licensed, lustom or Kaisens. That's not going to catch on, is it? I didn't think so. But they started doing some of those products as well. I actually had on PO their Dracula statue. But eventually they scammed everybody, took their money, and ran. So because of that, a few different people still wanted to see this made. Number one is a sculptor, super famous sculptor named Franco Carlissimo. So famous, in fact, I've owned like 30 of his statues, and recently I did this video on all the different creations he has. In fact, behind me, a lot of those X-Men actually belong to Franco. But with that being said, I've also done a video on this piece right here, which would also be a lustom or a Kaisens. So it's from his own mind, his own creation, and I know he had a part in this. Another person who had a part, if you're in the statue collecting world, you know really well, is the Todd father. That's right, the owner of Spec Fiction. So Todd and I are very close. I highly recommend his shop, not just because him and I get drunk together, as you saw in that video, but also because they have great deals. There's a link in the description below on where to buy statues, where you can not only buy a bunch of licensed stuff, but this piece as well. So Todd actually had this on order as a customer. And when everyone got scammed and it didn't get made, he got with Franco and he's like, you know what? We should figure out a way to produce this, which is pretty damn cool. But not only did they produce it, every person that was scammed by Legion Studios, they actually gave a free statue to. That is pretty damn cool. And now the leftovers are available for purchase. So they made a little bit higher edition size. We're going to talk about how much she is, how much you can buy it, but we're going to look at her and see if she's worth it first. Now for the people who were scammed, absolutely she was worth it. But I really like this piece. While it doesn't go with anything in my collection, and I am going to actually send it back to the Todd father. If I was going to keep this, I have some good ideas on what I would do with it. Nothing like that, you sicko. Alright, so again, since this is from the mind of some original creators, you can create a statue, as long as it's not a licensed character, of really anything you want. And I know Franco's done that quite a few times, and this was a good opportunity for Todd to get his hands dirty in the statue creation process, since he sells so many to all of us. But let's start with concept, and that's what's really cool about this character. You know, you think Angel of Death, you think maybe some man or creature. You'd never really think of a lady coming for you to kill you, which history shows that we should have been on the lookout for that. But on the bottom, the sub base here is a museum-style base, not my flavor of tea. However, on top of that, I don't even know what's going on. To me, it's almost like the depths of hell. You have what looks like almost like a tree that's come to life. There's hands coming out of it. They're tearing a human who has all of his skin ripped off. On actually the back of it, you see more skulls of people being pulled down into this hell-like area. I don't know what it is. But as you move up top, they actually use this to give her a flying effect, which is pretty cool. We'll talk about in design. You see a little bit of her outfit floating in the wind. It looks like she's actually flying. I think that's pretty neat. A few different switch-out options, but they all tell the same story. She's pointing at you. She has a sword sometimes. She's coming at you, but she's also showing off her goods as a female, which really helps me envision death. You know, you don't see it coming. But it looks awesome. It's definitely in the middle of a battle or an action, and you assume she's coming after somebody. Then her giant, amazing angel wings, which we're going to look at, I think are awesome. In this particular portrait, she has some horns and she's screaming. It is a really cool statue. I think the concept is incredibly unique. And you know what I was thinking? It would go really well with the recent XM Studios Apocalypse line, or the Four Horsemen, whatever this is right here. I think these are absolutely amazing. I think she would look great with them as well. But it could go with an angelic setup. I mean, shit, she could almost be a superhero. She reminds me of Magic with the horns. But I think the concept's great. I think it's a very strong 5 out of 5. And the reason I give it 5 out of 5 is due to the originality of it. Remember, it wasn't like they had a basis of Wolverine or Batman to go off of. They just had to think, let's create this amazing character. Design is pretty impressive as well. As I go through these reviews, I hope you guys know that I don't get to keep this statue. I send it back. I don't get a kickback. I just think it's a great piece. And the design contributes to that, in my opinion. First, here's the unboxing and assembly. One box, and it was interesting. I think they reused the Legion Studio box, but I usually don't show the art box, but because it's so damn good, I wanted to show it to you in these pictures right here. Pretty cool. Then it was held together with styrofoam and straps, 2 layers. Thankfully, nothing came broken, which was really impressive considering all the frail parts that there are. So let's measure her. She is 1/4 scale. The base itself is only about 10 inches in diameter, but the wings, that's about 19 inches wide. Then if you look at how deep she is, she's about 17. And then the top of the wings up here is just over 24 inches, barely. It's pretty close. So you wouldn't be able to fit in like a standard Magic case behind me. So I'd have liked to see that a tiny bit smaller because that's kind of a standard size with a lot of display shelves. But I really do like the switch outs they gave. Let's look at those. So first is the portrait you've been looking at. It's a screaming portrait. She has white hair and horns. But then there's also another really badass portrait right here. Different color of hair and then these beady, fiery eyes. Her left arm can be reaching out, and I really like this. This is kind of the jewelry that's ordained around her, but it's almost turning her hand into a demonic type hand. That's the way that I look at it. Or you can do a sword. I like both of these a lot, but I prefer the demonic hand over the sword. So some cool switch out options. Not overabundant, but just enough, I think, to almost give it 2 different vibes. I really like the flow of everything. How they keyed her ass into the live tree. Again, makes her feel like she's floating, especially with these things kind of flowing in the wind. I don't even know what those are because it's not a dress. Now the wings, this is more paint and sculpt, but they're feathers, right? And they are sculpted amazingly well. It is really good. So overall, I think the design's a 4 out of 5. Very, very solid. I like it a lot. Now let's dive into the paint and sculpt. So I'm very familiar, I bought so many Franco pieces. So traditionally sculptors, while they do different characters, you see a lot of the same similarities. I see it in the female portrait, although I think it's better than a lot of the other female portraits he has. And then of course in the anatomy, but I really like some of this crazy stuff below. But the wings just blow me away on this. Check it out. All right, so let's dive in. And I think the weakest part of the statue is the base. Well, it's not weak, it's weaker compared to the excellent figure up above. So I would have liked to see a different color with this. I mean, I like that it's not all brown and they went to a green. I would have liked some type of hellish look. And the paint just looks okay, the green paint. I don't think it looks great. It does look great around this guy's eyes. And he himself looks absolutely fantastic, both on the sculpt and the paint. I would have liked to see a more of a wood-like aspect to these arms. I don't even think they're supposed to be wood-like. I think they're supposed to be demons coming from hell, but they went too much brown on them, and it's too much to tell whether it's actually bony or wood. It looks cool. And then here's this guy getting his skin ripped off. He looks absolutely awesome. That really reminds me of Franco. That dude has a sick mind. He makes some weird crap. And I guess my mind's pretty sick because I love most of it. I love her dress or whatever this is, twirling in the wind. I think it's, the gloss that they added to that blue-green paint looks fantastic. And then just the directional flow really helped tell that story. They did a great job with her skin. They didn't go too pink. I think it's just absolutely perfect. And really, really nice anatomy. She's not too overemphasized anywhere, which you typically see in female characters. I like the gold armor. They didn't make it too shiny or too matte. It's somewhere in between. You can kind of see a shine coming off on the lights. Very intricate too. I like how it's kind of stacked on each other, the different plates. And here is her devil sword. A lot of detail even on the hilt. So this is resin, so it's light, so it doesn't fall off. Then take a look at her portrait. I think this is fantastic. Look at the hair, the horns. A lot of detail built into that. I like the moist effect they gave in the mouth with her screaming. Her teeth aren't exactly straight. I don't know if that's a print issue or if that's intentional. I like even how her brow is kind of pursed over, showing the rage. But my favorite part of the statue are these wings. These look absolutely amazing. I love the color, this black matte color with a little bit of brown mixed in there. But look how the wings are layered on each other. You know, I'm not a digital sculptor at all, but I can't imagine how long this must have taken. And video just does not do this justice. I've had wings on a few different statues, actually feathered wings like this before, and nothing close to this good. And the paint really, you know, even the paint, the brown tips of the feathers have this brown on them. It's loving these wings. Should buy it just for the wings. Yeah, so overall, I think a fantastic job. A lot of pros on here. Badass character for sure. Starting with the sculpt, you know, usually I almost always give Franco's 5 out of 5, but I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I would like to see, I think it's above average. I would like to see a little bit different down here. Although the wings, God shit, the wings 5 out of 5 because of the wing. I never do half points. Paint, I also think is since I didn't really give you a score, paint's a 4 out of 5 on this. I think it's done really well. I would have liked different colors on the bottom, but that's just my preference. So is she worth it? Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Now, they made 150 of these. The reason they made 150 is typically with a small piece like this, they're going to do like 50 or so, but they had to fill all the orders for free. So really, the money they're trying to make for selling them is just so they can break even. But they made 150 of them, and she retails for $8.99. And you can actually buy her at Spec Fiction. Again, check out the link below where to buy statues or where to buy anything. There's a link for Spec Fiction. You can use the code Extreme20 and actually get money off. So for a quarter scale statue that has a lot going on, this is a pretty big piece and a small edition size. I think the value's strong. I think it's a 4 out of 5. You know, you almost want to give it a higher rating because they're being altruistic with it. Is that the right way to use that word? Well, that's the way I used it. But just for the statue itself, I think $8.99 is a good deal, especially when you think of those XM pieces, which are more elaborate, but they're like twice that price. So does she have the X factor? You know, she doesn't for me because I don't have ties to the character, but I think it's a solid 4 out of 5. I have never, you know, I'm usually a leg man. I don't know why I'm so impressed with these wings. But yeah, I'm a fan of this. And if you like stuff in this realm, fantasy, mythical, angels, demons, she is a must-have, so make sure to go pick her up. But big thank you to Franco, big thank you to Todd. I told Todd how I wanted the Dracula piece. He's like, well, if we can get the license for Dracula or make a different vampire, then maybe we'll do that next. That'd be really cool. So at least give a like for Todd and Franco for what they did. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And it really helps me, not them, but I'm trying to mind fuck you right now. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, thanks, Todd. I'll pack her back up. You know that, though, because we were just texting in between the takes. So, it's funny. Todd's coming here, and I'm leaving to get away from Todd. He's the